Chapter 6. More on Python Programming Language. Introduction. In your previous class, you have learned that Python is an object-oriented, dynamic, high-level, open-source and interpreted programming language. It is very easy to learn as well as used for getting started with programming and is one such language that finds its applications in a wide-ranging area. Using Python, you can not only develop computer software but also web and Android applications, embedded system programs, and many more. You can also make artificial intelligence projects using Python. In this lesson, you will learn more about Python language, its packages, how we developed complex programs, etc. Python is a widely used general-purpose, high-level programming language. It was initially designed by Guido van Rossum in 1991 and developed by Python Software Foundation. It was mainly developed for emphasis on code readability, and its syntax allows programmers to express concepts in fewer lines of code. Python is a free and open-source programming language, which means that it can be downloaded and used for free of cost on any operating system. Not only can you download, but it also allows you to make your own libraries or modules and distribute them. It also lets you work quickly and integrates systems more efficiently. Before we start Python programming, we need to have an interpreter to interpret and run our programs. There are many interpreters available freely to run Python scripts like idle, integrated development environment, which is installed when you install the Python software from http://python.org/downloads/. Features of Python. Python has several features and has a huge collection of libraries for a variety of applications. It also supports object-oriented programming as well as procedural-oriented programming approach. Python 3.9.0 is the latest version that has been released with many features and optimizations. It is one of the most popular programming languages in the past years. Some features of Python programming language are given below. 1. Python is one of the most user-friendly programming languages. You can easily learn the basics of Python and become familiar with its syntax. 2. The syntax of Python is very easy. It generally comprises words from the English language. 3. Python is an interpreted language. That means its code is executed line by line and not all at once like in other programming languages. 4. Python is a cross-platform language. 5. Python consists of a bulk of libraries that are cross-platform and provides a rich set of modules and functions. Python packages. We do not usually store all of our files on our computer in the same location. We use a well-organized hierarchy of directories for easier access. Similar files are kept in the same directory. For example, we may keep all the images in the picture directory. Analogous to this, Python has packages for directories and modules for files. A package is basically a directory with Python files and a file with the name initial.py. This means that every directory inside of the Python path, which contains a file named init.py, will be treated as a package by Python. Packages allow you to organize modules in the hierarchical structure. There are various types of packages in Python. Some of them are given below. NumPy. NumPy is one of the fundamental packages for Python, providing support for large multi-dimensional arrays and perform calculations on the data stored in them. You can solve algebraic formulas, perform common statistical operations, and much more. Matplotlib. Matplotlib is an open-source library in Python. It is widely used for publication of quality figures in a variety of hard copy formats and interactive environments across platforms. You can design charts, graphs, pie charts, scatter plots, histograms, error charts, etc. using this package in Python. Pandas. Pandas is an open source library. It enables the provision of easy data structure and quicker data analysis for Python. For operations like data analysis and modeling, Pandas is used. OpenCV. OpenCV, open source computer vision, is used for image processing. It monitors overall functions focused on instant computer vision. It allows both reading and writing images at the same time. Python Basic. Some basic Python syntaxes which can help us in writing codes in Python language are discussed below. Keyword and identifier. Keywords are predefined words that have specific meanings and purposes. They cannot be changed at any point in time and should not be used any other way except the default one, otherwise they create confusion and might result in ambiguous results. Some of the keywords are mentioned below. An identifier is any word which is variable. These words are not defined and can be used in any way. An identifier can be declared by the user as per their convenience of use and can vary according to the way the user wants. Identifiers are also case sensitive. Hence, an identifier named as call would be different from an identifier named call. Variable. A variable is a name that refers to a value. It is a reserved memory location to store values. In other words, a variable in a Python program gives data to the computer for processing. Given below are some rules for naming a variable. A variable name must start with a letter or the underscore character. A variable name cannot start with a number. A variable name can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscores, that is A to Z, 0 to 9, and variable names are case sensitive, that is test and test are three different variables. Assigning values to variables. Python variables do not need explicit declaration to reserve memory space. The declaration happens automatically when you assign a value to a variable. The equal sign is used to assign values to variables. The operand to the left of the equal operator is the name of the variable, and the operand to the right of the equal operator is the value stored in the variable. For example, if we want to declare a variable that should hold the total number of chocolates we have, which is 50, we can simply do it in the following way. Number underscore of underscore chocolates equals 50. Expressions. An expression is a combination of values, variables and operators. If you type an expression on the command line, the interpreter evaluates it and displays the result. 1 plus 1, 2, hash, output. Although expressions contain values, variables and operators, not every expression contains all of these elements. A value all by itself is considered an expression, and so is a variable. 17, 17, hash, output. Print, into bracket, hello, comma, world, exclamation, in single quote. Hello, comma, world, exclamation, hashtag, output. When the Python interpreter displays the value of an expression, it uses the same format you would use to enter a value. Comments. Comments play a very important role while writing a program. Comments are the statements which are incorporated in the code to give a better understanding of code statements to the user. They describe what is going on inside a program so that a person looking at the source code does not have a hard time figuring it out. In Python, we use the hash symbol to start writing a comment. Comments describe what code is doing so other people can understand it. For example, hash, this is a comment and will not be read by the machine. Statements in Python. A statement is an instruction that a Python interpreter can execute. So, you can say anything written in Python is a statement. There are mainly 4 types of statements in Python: print statements, assignment statements, conditional statements, looping statements. The print and assignment statements are commonly used. When you type a statement on the command line, Python executes it and displays the result if there is one. The result of a print statement is a value. Assignment statements do not produce a result, it just assigns a value to the operand on its left side. A Python script usually contains a sequence of statements. If there is more than one statement, the result appears only one time when all statements execute. For example, print into bracket with single quote hello hash statement 1 x is equal to 20 hash statement 2 print into bracket x hash statement 3. The output are hello 20. Here the assignment statement produces no output. Conditional statements. In programming languages, most of the time in large projects, we have to control the flow of execution of our program, and we want to execute some set of statements only if the given condition is satisfied, and a different set of statements when it is not satisfied. Here the conditional statements come into highlight. Conditional statements are also known as decision-making statements. They are used to execute the specific block of code if the given condition is true or false. If statement. Python if statement is one of the most commonly used conditional statements in programming languages. It decides whether certain statements need to be executed or not. It checks for a given condition. If the condition is true, then the set of code present inside the if block will be executed, otherwise not. Syntax: if condition, statements. Example 1. A is equal to 3. If A is greater than 2, colon, print into bracket A, comma, is greater than 2 in double quotes. Print done in double quotes. Output 3 is greater than 2. Example 2. A is equal to minus 1. If A is less than 0, print A, comma, is smaller than 0 in double quotes inside a bracket. Print in double quotes finish. Output minus 1 is smaller than 0. If-else statement. This type of statement tests a condition, and if the given condition is true, then executes the statement present inside the if block, otherwise else part will be executed. The else block will execute only when the condition becomes false. It is the block where you will perform some actions when the condition is not true. Syntax: if condition, statements, else statements. Program 1. Write a program to check whether you are eligible for driving license. Program 2. Elif statement. The elif statement is used to check multiple conditions only if the given condition is false. It is similar to an if-else statement, and the only difference is that in else, we will not check the condition, but in elif, we will check the condition and evaluate multiple conditions. Syntax: if condition, statement, elif, condition, statement, else, statement. Program 3. Write a program to check the greatest among 3 numbers. Elif ladder. We have seen about the elif statements, but what is this elif ladder? As the name itself suggests, a program that contains a ladder of elif statements or elif statements are structured in the form of a ladder. This statement is used to test multiple expressions. Syntax: if condition, statements, elif condition, statements, elif condition, statements, elif condition, statements, else. Program 4. Write a program to check whether the number is equal to 10, 50 and 100. Looping statements. A loop statement allows us to execute a statement or a group of statements multiple times as long as the condition is true. Repeated execution of a set of statements with the help of loops is called iteration. Looping statements are used when we need to run same code again and again each time with a different value. In Python iteration, loops statements are of three types, that is, while loop, for loop, and nested for loops. For loop. For loop is used for a repeated execution of a group of statements for the desired number of times. It iterates over the items of lists, tuples, strings, the dictionaries, and other iterable objects. Syntax for variable in sequence statements holds the value of item in sequence in each iteration. Sequence, a sequence of values assigned to variable in each iteration. Program 5. Write a program to find the sum of all numbers stored in a list. The range function. The range function returns the sequence of the given number between the given range. The range is a built-in function of Python that is used when a user needs to perform an action a specific number of times. The range function is also used to generate a sequence of numbers over time. This function returns a sequence of numbers that by default starts with 0, increments by 1, and ends at a specified number passed as an argument to it. In Python, using a for loop with range, we can repeat an action a specific number of times. For example, for I in range 25-29, print I. Program 6. Write a program to print multiplication table of a number. Nested for loop. For loop is just like another Python command or statement. So, we can write a for loop inside another for loop, and this is called nesting. When one for loop defined within another for loop is called nested for loops. For example, printing numbers or star patterns. Here, outer loop is nothing but a row and the inner loop is columns. In nested loop, the inner loop will be executed one time for each iteration of the outer loop. Syntax for val in sequence. For val in sequence, statements. For example, nested for loop to print the following pattern. Rows is equal to 5, hash outer loop for I in range 1, comma rows plus 1 in bracket, colon, hash inner loop for j in range 1, comma I plus 1 in bracket, colon, print asterisk in double quotes, comma end equals double quote, print in bracket double quote. Program 7. Write a nested for loop program to print the pattern. While loop. The while loop statement repeatedly executes a code block while a particular condition is true. It enables the Python program to repeat a set of operations while a particular condition is true. When the condition becomes false, execution comes out of the loop immediately, and the first statement after the while loop is executed. We use a while loop when the number of iteration is not known beforehand. For example, if you want to ask a user to guess your lucky number between 1 and 10, we don't know how many attempts the user may need to guess the correct number. In such cases, use a while loop. Syntax: while condition, colon, statements. Program 8. Write a program to print numbers less than 5. Note the loop with continuing forever if you forgot to increment counter in the above example. List in Python. A list in Python is used to store the sequence of various types of data. A list can be defined as a collection of values or items of different types. The items in the list are separated with the comma and enclosed with the square brackets. A list can be defined as below. L1 is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in square brackets. L2 is equal to into square bracket Watson in double quotes, comma United Kingdom in double quotes, comma 110. The list has the following characteristics. The lists are ordered. The element of the list can access by index. The lists are the mutable type. A list can store the number of various elements. A list can contain any arbitrary objects. Accessing values in lists. To access values in lists, use the square brackets for slicing along with the index or indices to obtain value available at that index. For example, A list 1 is equal to into square bracket mathematics in single quote, chemistry in single quote, comma 2020, comma 2050, semicolon, print into bracket list 1 in square bracket 0, print list 1 into bracket into square bracket 3. Output of the above program is mathematics 2050. B list 2 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in square bracket, semicolon, print into bracket list 2 inside square bracket 1, colon 5. Output 2, 3, 4, 5 in square bracket. Adding element to a list. We can add an element to any list using three methods such as append, insert and extend. Append method. This method will accept only one parameter and add it at the end of the list. For example, A list 1 is equal to list into bracket inside square bracket 5, 8, Kate in single quote, 7.50. List 1 dot append into bracket Emma in single quote, print list 1 output into square bracket 5, 8, Kate in single quote, 7.5, Emma in single quote. B list 2 is equal to list into bracket into square bracket 1, 5, Raj in single quote, 7.50. List 2 dot append into bracket into square bracket 15, 20, 32. Print into bracket list 2. Output 1, 5, Raj in single quote, 7.5 inside square bracket 15, 50, 32. Close square bracket. Insert method. This method is used to add the object or item at the specified position in the list. The insert method accepts two parameters, position and object. For example, A list 1 is equal to list into bracket into square bracket 5, 8, Kate in single quote, 7.50. List 1 dot insert into bracket 2, 25. Print list 1 into bracket. Output 5, 8, 25, Kate in single quote, 7.5. B list 2 is equal to list into bracket into square bracket 1, 5, Raj in single quote, 7.50. List 2 dot insert into bracket 3, 25, 50, 12 in square bracket. Print into bracket list 2. Output 1, 5, Raj in single quote, into square bracket 25, 50, 12, 7.5 into square bracket. Extend method. This method will accept the list of elements and add them at the end of the list. We can even add another list by using this method. For example, my underscore list is equal to list into bracket into square bracket 1, 8, Kate in single quote, 7.50. My underscore list dot extend into bracket into square bracket 25, 75, 124. Print into bracket my underscore list. Output into square bracket 1, 8, Kate in single quote, 7.5, 25, 75, 124. Removing elements from a list. Elements from a list can be removed using two methods. Remove method. This method removes the first occurrence of the item from the list that has a value of x. For example, A list 1 is equal to list into bracket into square bracket 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. List 1 dot remove into bracket 6. List 1 dot remove into bracket 10. Print list 1 into bracket. Output 2, 4, 8, 12 into square bracket. B. List 2 is equal to list into bracket into square bracket 6, 4, 6, 6, 8, 12. List 2 dot remove into bracket 6. Print list 2 into bracket. Output 4, 6, 6, 8, 12. Pop method. This method removes the item at the given position in the list and returns it. If no index is specified, pop removes and returns the last item in the list. For example, list is equal to list into bracket into square bracket 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. List.pop into bracket 2 hash remove item present at index 2. Print into bracket list. Output 2, 4, 8, 10, 12 into square bracket. In a nutshell, 1. A package is basically a directory with Python files and a file name with the name init.py. Some of the Python packages are NumPy, Matplotlib, Pandas, Open and OpenCV. 2. Keywords are predefined words that have specific meanings and purposes. 3. Comments are the statements which are incorporated in the code to give a better understanding of code statements to the user. 4. Conditional statements are also known as decision-making statements. They are used to execute the specific block of code if the given condition is true or false. 5. The elif statement is used to check multiple conditions only if the given condition is false. 6. Looping statements are used when we need to run same code again and again, each time with a different value. 7. A list can be defined as a collection of values or items of different types. The items in the list are separated with a comma and enclosed with the square brackets. 8. The range function returns the sequence of the given number between the given range. 1.